And then I'm just reminded, boy, Brian, what you were just saying reminds me of that great TED talk that Andrew Stanton did. I don't know if you've ever seen it. And he said like one of the primary commandment for writers is to make me care. The audience, make the audience care. Because if you don't do that, then the action is meaningless. And if you do that, then you can go pretty much anywhere. And so maybe just get your reaction to that comment there from Andrew Stanton.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. If it's kind of the, when you're reading, right, when you're that if you are not invested within the first 15 pages, then you're not gonna, if you don't get a reader invested in within the first 15 pages, they're not gonna read to the end. And I've been reading scripts for almost 20 years now, and it's absolutely true. And it goes for television and film as well. Is like, if I'm not invested with it, for film and television is even shorter. If I'm not invested for like 7 minutes, then it's going to be a hard-won battle to get me there throughout. And I think the challenge is to make it, for me, the challenge is to have an audience commit and be invested, but have it be unique while also being universal. Like, I don't want an audience to just invest because they're like, oh, it's X, Y, and Z, and it's a really easy way to get a character. It's sort of like schmuck baity, like I don't want somebody to invest like a pity investment in a character or a pity investment in a story. I want them to invest because they're emotionally, truthfully moved or connected to something. And that's what's harder. That is a much harder like challenge to undertake. But I think it's much more rewarding than, just sort of, oh, it's a funny character, I like them.
I agree. And I don't think it takes much, like you know it when you're there, and you know it when you're watching something and it feels like, you're 20 minutes in, and whether it's a movie or a TV show, and it feels like you didn't get that moment like earlier on where, and sometimes, it's just like we were just watching The Kingsman, the first one this morning, and sure, you've got some stuff with like, a guy dies in the service and stuff earlier on, but it's really all about when you meet Taron Egerton's character and you see what a terrible home life he has. And then when he goes and like steals a car and does like the wrong thing, he tells his friends to like get out of the car so they don't get arrested too. Like, it doesn't take much. And then you understand, you know so much about him just from that. Like, it's just it's about finding these relatable moments for people. And it's almost always, they're kind of in a hard luck situation, or they're unhappy about something and they just kind of need a chance. And then, miraculously that chance is going to like come along, like but you have to, whether it's a villain or a hero, like it's just about making them relatable. And sort of, for me, I always sort of talk about like identifying like the pain that they're kind of going through, particularly with villains. I think in a lot of the shows that I've worked on, I've wound up getting kicked a lot of like the villain monologues or like the villain scenes. I don't know if that's a good
thing. Do you
want
to tell us something?
No, but for me, because I espouse a lot, Scott, like what you were saying is that like, sure, they're the heroes of their own stories, but it's also like the best villains are ones that maybe you don't sympathize with, but you can empathize with. That's what you're saying too, and so it's that, something happened in their life that made them this way, and like they have conviction in what they're doing. And when they don't, it just doesn't sort of work. And that's true on both sides of the coin, the hero like or villain. It's just about figuring out like how the audience and you yourself, when you're writing it, like would relate to them and sort of sympathize and care about them.